What's up, guys? I got Loda here. We're in the back of the G-Wagon. Going to do a quick interview for you guys. So first of all, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. We had a great time here in Katowice. You know, just cruising around town, thinking about Dota.
Okay, let's talk a bit about Dota. Like, unfortunately, you guys didn't do so hot at this tournament. How are the guys feeling right now?
Well, now it's been like 2 days or something since we were kicked out, so I think they've came back from it a little bit. But I mean, obviously they're quite crushed. I think that overall these past 2 months, maybe, or 1 month since the major, it's been a bit tough for us because we went into the last major with honestly quite good results, especially in practice, and we've been screaming against the better teams out there like Secret, Liquid, LGD, and we were very confident going into the major. But after that, we've kind of had, you know, tried to take time to come back from that, well, those quite so-so results, and it's been tough. We really hope to do better here, and I think that, you know, looking at our games versus NIP, etc., we were close, but we didn't get there, so it's rough.
Like, if there's one thing I have to say about Alliance is you guys are pretty resilient, right? I remember speaking to, it was Insania after not qualifying for TI, and I was like, you know, most teams in this situation, you'd be like, oh, rip. Yeah. Like, that team is done. And the fact that he was actually practicing more and it drove them even harder was pretty inspiring, actually. Like, I was genuinely surprised that you guys didn't disband. How did that happen? Like, I'm sure there were thoughts of it going through your mind. Like, what was that whole situation like?
I don't know, actually. I don't think that there was so much thoughts about disbanding or switching up the teams. I mean, I had a serious talk with them, and I mean, I had a quite serious talk with them where I reminded them that, you know, I retired for a reason, to give them space to shine, and they have to take advantage of that chance, and they have to decide for real if they want to do this 150%, you know, because that's what you gotta do. It's just that tough. But yeah, it was honestly a bit inspiring to me as well to see that that's when they started working even harder, and that made me believe in all of them for sure.
Let's talk about the retiring from playing thing for you, because you know, every Dota player out there loves this game so much, and I can only imagine what it's like to play it on a pro level. Yeah, it becomes so much a part of your life. Like, how difficult was it for you to put all that down?
It was both very difficult and not so difficult, I'd say. No, but it's because, like, the past few years, you know, I've been so tightly associated with the Alliance that I couldn't give up. I couldn't take a break. You know, like some of the other members, or the older members, they left, and I felt very, very responsible making this happen. And I feel like there was kind of a bit too much pressure on doing all the sides. And in my own opinion, I don't like to say this, but I don't really feel like I was performing so well in the end. And I feel like that was the pressure kind of getting to me. I couldn't juggle both nerding 100,000 pubs and then trying to keep the team in a good mental state, and, you know, making sure people don't leave, making sure people are motivated to keep playing. So in that sense, it was quite easy, but at the same time, I love Dota. I love playing, and I hope that, or rather I wish that I would have been an amazing player forever and ever and ever without having to put in all of that work, maybe. But the one thing I miss is competing. I miss competing. I miss winning. You know, there's nothing better. There's no better feeling than, you know, working really, really hard and achieving what you've worked for. You know, when your strategy clicks, when your practice actually makes sense, and it just works out. I miss that a lot.
In another way, you're kind of competing, but like, as you're like the co-owner of Alliance. I don't know what exactly your role is, but you're more like competing in a business aspect. Like, is it somewhat similar?
No, I can't say it's similar. No, but I mean, there's just something. I mean, maybe I can get there. You know, now that you say it, I can get that mindset. But there's just something very special about competing on the stage against all these other players. It's, you know, you have 2-3 hours to prove that all this practice is worth it, and No, it's not really the same.
Okay. Maybe that's a bit of a bit of a too positive attitude.
Yeah.
So when you're a coach, how defined is your role and how they play? How do you like help the team as a coach?
Well, I think that it has been different from time to time. I think that if you're a hardcore Alliance fan, you can see that from the beginning of the team, I was probably pushing a bit. I was pushing my strategies on the boys, and I'm a genius at Dota and all my strats are great, so I try to get them to understand that. But what I had to realize along the way was more that for these guys, I had to, help them find what they want to play. They can't play what I want to play. I can't ask Mickey or whoever is the carry to play my kind of carry, because they're their own player, they're their own persons that come from Han, and I had to realize that we need to use their strengths and like work that into the draft and all these things. So I would say, I do most of the coaching part, except for I'm not a bulba. I don't sit down and take over the draft and tell them what to do. I feel that's not the way it goes. I try to, keep them motivated, keep the mental game up, and everything around pretty much. But it's challenging, and you have to you have to change your ways every now and then. Right now, it's a bit tough, I think, because the boys take their defeats very, very hard. I try to lift them up, but I think I might have to work on that to get even better.
When you say they take it hard and you have to lift them up, like what exactly would you do? Like, is there any specific things you try and do?
Well, I've tried a lot of different things. I've tried to be the hard ass, be the dad that makes them do things. The thing I think works the best is that, remind them that even if this is life and death, it's also not life and death. Like you need to be able to laugh after a game, even if you lose. You need to be able to be light. You can't, because for example, like everyone on the team, they're so close. They can feel each other's spirit or mental fortitude or whatever you want to call it. If somebody's really, really down, that will affect all of them very quickly. You can hear it in their voice, you can hear it in the game. They're not confident, and that's what I'm trying to work with, because when they're all at the top, when they understand that they win and lose together, and sure, you have ups and downs, but it's about performing as a team, and when they kind of forget about all the worries, all the pressure, that's when they're at their best. So yeah, it's something like that.
It's tough.
It is hard though, because it's I wish I naturally was an amazing genius coach that was good at everything, but some things I'm great at, some things I'm less good at, and it gets frustrating sometimes as well, because you try to make them understand, but some things just takes time,
I respect that. I can see that, and also with different types of people, you have to change how you I'm sure each individual player, you speak to them in a kind of different way, right?
Yeah, for sure. They're very different people. I think Mickey has his style, like his style of person. Max Koikva is his style of person, and Aiden is different from both of them. And then you have Boxy, who's for sure different from the rest of the guys, but very funny in his own way. And I think bit by bit, I'm getting closer and closer to all of them. And I feel especially for Boxy, especially Boxy and Aiden, I would say, I've gone from a point where I didn't really understand exactly how they worked to a point where I feel I do really understand how they work and what they need to do to click with each other. And sometimes when they doubt each other and when they're like, he won't understand that or he can't do that and he's not that kind of player, I know that they are. It's just about how you communicate it, how you talk to them as people, and more about, as I said before, getting them to understand themselves what they need to do.
Well, talking about all that, is there any times in your past that, like for example, I remember watching, what was it? What was the team you played at? TI2, I think, where you played, when you played offlane, and you were just kind of always looking, and you were in the corner, and it looked like you were not really like a part of the thing. Is there any like moments in your past that you like relate to when you try and teach them these kind of things? Like when like I know from the outside looking in, like up to TI3, maybe even TI4, it kind of looked like it was all smooth sailing, but there must have been some downs and some rocky roads along it.
For sure. I mean, the TI2 thing is always funny because I mean it wasn't really like that. That was more like a meme thing that we did on the team, because I was jokingly saying that when I don't give a fuck, our draft ends up really well, so I'll just sit here in my corner and wait for my role, and we'll just play from there. And I was playing with Ice, and he was kind of he was drafting then as well, so we kind of just jumped on top of that. But I mean, in a sense, I guess in that team I did though feel a little bit like an outsider, and I think that I've not felt that in Alliance the like following years, but I mean I've seen my teammates feel like that, and I know how it's just so bad for the team when one guy is like that, when one guy feels like, when you lose a game, they will always think that the team is gonna look to them and then think that, okay, now they're gonna come and scold me or like talk about but exactly. And I think it's so important to make everyone feel like they matter, their role is important, and that they have a safe place on the team. Like, sure, teams change, you switch players, and I mean that's the nature of competing, right? But you also need to like dare to play your own games, play your own style, and be a part of the team. You need to be a strong group, because otherwise it's easy to break apart, when you have tough games. It really is. I mean, something that is difficult, and I mean, people that see me and read interviews with me and stuff, they might think that I am very good at pushing my own ideas or like getting people to listen, but I'm honestly, I like to, I like it when they want to listen, and when I push some ideas towards them, I would appreciate if they actually take that to mind and actually, really try it out. And I think a good example is to spin my own wheel or whatever you call it. Good example is, for example, I've been talking about Viper very much recently. Previously people have been playing Viper with, you max Q and E. That's pretty much what you do. But looking at the hero, I've been thinking for a long time, this hero is probably more about W and about jungling. It's not so much about the laning. Sure, you can win mid lane with Q and E, but it's not really about that. And now I wasn't really able to push that idea on them. But now I see today, for example, that Liquid at MDL, but also Gambit here at the tournament, they're playing Viper mid, and they're
especially on the Radiant side, right? When you have that medium count.
And they max W, they go jungle, they go Greaves, they don't go for Dragonlance or Pike and all these things, and that's something I could really improve on, and that's what I think is the most tough, because I've always had a good idea of gut feelings about Dota 2, like things, this is really strong, but I have to practice on like pushing my ideas and then actually finding the middle ground there somehow.
It's difficult sometimes, because like you have this great idea, you're like, I know this works, but convincing someone is a whole different story, right?
Yeah. So I actually had to start playing more pubs again to rank up, and I'm like top 1,000 again, but it's not so good. But
I'm nearly top 1,000. Wait, you interview me.
Yeah, but last year after I stopped playing, I didn't play Dota I barely played Dota for like 6 months.
And you get bad so fast.
Yeah, you really do. But especially when the patches change so fast, and you're like coming back and the shrines and everything and the new items and yeah, it's tough, man. But it's fun. It's challenging, and I think the most exciting thing is like the fans see us losing and see all these tough times, and then But I think that the journey. That it is hard, that's part of the joy of it. And then when you're gonna get to the point where you're doing well, which I'm 100% sure we will get there, it will be so nice. And it's also quite nice being the underdog, because
no pressure, like
but like it's the most fun to do what nobody expects, right?
That's true.
If everybody expects you to lose, that's when you want to win, and that's how I feel, at least.
I think especially looking at Alliance from the outside, it's very from my personal opinion as well, they're like light-hearted, fun guys that are likable, but they're if they get to the top, I'm pretty sure they'll be stars. Like 100%.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, my personal opinion is that they're all great guys, but Boxy and Mickey, they have the potential to be the best players in their roles. There's no doubt about it. They just need to work harder. They just need to get into the right mindset, and we will get there for sure.
So you excited to come to Mumbai?
I'm super excited. I've never been to India. I hear a lot of good things about it. I'll be very careful when it comes to eating too much crazy things, but no, I'm super psyched. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I actually can't wait. I think I'm taking a few more days at the end just to like actually explore. It sounds baller, to be honest.
It's gonna be interesting to see how hot it is.
Yeah.
So are we allowed to wear shorts at this event, or?
Like, I don't know.
It's gonna be great.
All right, I think you're back at your hotel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
It was nice chatting to you.
It was a good interview.
See you later.
I will see you indeed. Take care.
Bye-bye.